race up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. Feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Qiddiya.
All right, welcome everybody. We are here for ESL Challenger League in North America, the NA Cup number 2, and it's myself, Laz, and joined here with Paladin here today. And we got ourselves a little bit of a fun derby here in NA, and we got ourselves Marsborne taking on Getting Info. And Paladin, I gotta know, how you feeling about this one?
I'm excited, man. I think this is one of those matchups that you weren't necessarily expecting when you look at the teams that we have involved. Obviously, when you look at the way the cookie crumbles, you've got that lower bracket with Wildcard taking on Skinrave, and then here in the upper bracket with Getting Info taking on Marsborne. In all honesty, Laz, I feel like these 4 teams should be flipped in where they are in the actual bracket. But instead, we have Getting Info with a ripe opportunity alongside Marsborne to notch a chance at the grand final, get ever so closer to the NA finals here at season 50, and get ever closer to ESL Pro League as well. So for me, I think this is for both of these two teams, they should be understanding that this matchup is paramount, not wanting to go up against Wildcard later on in the consolidation final, having an extra day of break on Sunday, and getting prepared for that best of 5 on Monday.
Yeah, like you said, it's been a lot of really good matches. We saw, kind of for the upper bracket, and now just kind of looking through the lower bracket of how things are kind of panning out. And yeah, like I think the biggest, surprise I kind of feel like, and I think we're both going to be on the same page here, is the fact that, Getting Info, they really have kind of put a team like Wildcard now in this position where they have to be in the lower bracket. Now they kind of have to fight themselves in this kind of, again, unique position, right? Like I kind of put Wildcard as this like heavy favorite in this entire thing. But the fact that they have to, kind of, in some retrospect, have to fight for their lives is so interesting, right? Because Getting Info was a team that I didn't really think was going to be able to put themselves in this position, but look, they've proven us wrong, and they've been able to show us what they can do. And now being in the upper bracket final to win this and put themselves in the grand final, it's a great position for both these teams regardless.
Yeah, I completely agree, and we can get into our Qiddiya player to watch, and I think this will center around our conversation regarding Marsborne for pretty much the rest of this best of 3, and that's the addition of Sixy. Yes, the rating doesn't jump off the page, the DAR doesn't jump off the page, all that stuff, but the point that we're trying to make here is the fact that this guy had an opportunity to play at Tier 1 alongside Complexity, now known as Passion UA, and didn't actually crack it, or at least didn't show the level of talent that we were hoping that we could regularly see out of Sixy here in North America in this Tier 2, Tier 3 format. And now he has an opportunity to play alongside Marsborne and power them up to a point where they could potentially get back into the good graces of the North American community. And they're already hitting the ground running. They've won prize picks off the back of a couple of big series wins. And now they have another opportunity to compound on top of that and see if that playmaking ability from Sixy and giving Wolfie a little bit more space on that AWP to focus on his scope to come around and potentially notch another jewel in the crown of North American achievements.
Yeah, it's a really good point you bring up, right? And just the last things I want to say before we kind of go deep into the veto is that it is such an interesting aspect just in the sense of Sixy, right? Like you said, he was with Complexity, he got that taste of that Tier 1 experience. He was able to have a bit of a rough start, then he was able to put himself in a good little bit of performance, and then it kind of fell through again, right? And that's where I think this is kind of a unique storyline for him, because I think now it's going to be all about, what is he going to be able to prove, right? Like, this is all about him finding his way, kind of showcasing why he's still one of these like better players in the NA region, what he's going to be able to bring to the table. And now the fact that he's calling the shots definitely makes things even a lot more interesting, because, you know, we both know that he was able to do a little bit with Party Astronauts, didn't really have that greatest a result, kind of short-lived, not much. Now it's like he's been with the team for a little bit of time, not that long, starting to look pretty good. They're already in this upper bracket final situation, so, you know, all things considered, looking pretty good. But look, let's talk about the maps. We can see the first pick is going to be Ancient. That's going to be from Getting Info. Then Train from Marsborne, which, oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. And if we get there and that decider, it is going to be Overpass and Paladin. I don't know if does anything kind of jump out to you as a big surprise or just even a big thing to talk about.
I mean, this is comfort across the board for both squads. I mean, Snav has always taken a liking to Ancient, no matter what Getting Info roster he's had, even back in the time when they were under that Elevate banner. Ancient was very kind to Snav. He understands how to mid-round in that map very effectively. Train's also been very kind to Marsborne. That's something that they've adopted quite consistently. They've got a solid win rate on it. I think the reason as to why they're so successful on it isn't necessarily the firepower, it's the reads that they have, it's the game plan, it's the way they're able to work together as a unit on the T side and make sure that those CT sides are lockdowns. Now, that being said, you throw 60 into the conversation. How does that differ from Wolfie's style? Is Train still going to be that stalwart defense that they can rely upon in the veto? Or is it going to have a little bit of shakiness to it now that you have got a couple of reps under your belt under the 60 system? And then Overpass to decide. I think this is another map that Getting Info have taken a liking to. Snav has done a lot of Overpass when he was under that Timberman banner, and for Marsborne, again, uncharted water, something that has been actually pretty favorable for them in the 4 maps that they have played. A win over Getting Info in overtime is always going to lend you to believe that you're fine to run it back again. So I think that you've got all the maps that you could ask for in this veto for both sides. Now it's really just the question of what 60 are we going to get today as far as the calling is concerned, and then actually on the other side of the equation, what kind of dia are we going to get for Getting Info? Because this is a guy that took a little bit of a hiatus and now has another opportunity to come back into the fold and come into an opping front in North America that is pretty lackluster. He can still very easily get into the conversation of being a top 3 opper within the region. It's just a question of, does he have the willpower and can he do it on the day?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, right? Because I think, you know, there's some really unique storylines for both these teams, and that's where I think I go back to Marsborne and, you know, just lightly touching on the fact of, you know, 60 joining, you know, Modem's out. Modem was that IGL, like you know, mentioned as well. Like, he was the guy that was with the good reads. Oh, yeah, it was Wolfie, sorry. But Modem was in the team, right? I mean, he was also like a pretty big aspect to this roster that I thought. I was a little bit surprised to think like, okay, he's out and then 60's in. I'm not even saying 60 joining is a bad thing. I just felt like Modem could have been this player that could have probably stayed, I would have thought. But I mean, that's a whole other, you know, rabbit hole we could go down. But this is where, like you said, it's going to be an interesting aspect to see, like, okay, like what kind of team are we going to get here today? Can they still put up this decent performance where they have been able to beat, you know, Getting Info before? Or is this going to be a way closer affair? Or does Getting Info just continue their reign of terror and put themselves in this grand final and just showcase that they're just running through all the competition here in NA? That's what makes it really, really exciting for me. But you know, Ancient's going to be a really good starting point, just because I know for Marsborne, they were able to get that 13-10 victory against Wildcard. So I'm kind of curious. Like, I think Marsborne have a good chance, despite that, you know, Getting Info went for this pick. I think this could be the bar burning, you know, a little bit of an opening map to see like, maybe this thing goes the distance or not.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the conversation about Modem is a very interesting one because they had a lot of these role shuffles going around, and it felt like Modem finally felt comfortable. I mean, even when he wasn't in the roles that he wanted to, I still felt like he provided at least a little bit of a spark in terms of playmaking that I think very similarly matches up with how 60 likes to approach the game in some circumstances as well. But removing him then calls into question, I think it scrutinizes Wolfie and it scrutinizes Viz a lot on this team as well. What can Wolfie do now that he's free from the shackles of calling? Does he still have that capability to op in CS2? I'm not necessarily sure, because I haven't seen that level out of Wolfie since maybe his time way back on M80 originally, and even that was in like shades. And the same thing I think goes similarly for Viz, where yes, I think he's this soldier that is going to follow commands very strictly for you, but can he go above and beyond to get you that double, to get you that triple here in a matter of pressure time? Something that Sixy might not be able to do as usually as he possibly could now that he's got to actually take the reins and call through. So there are so many different factors to go through when you add in the factor of Sixy straight up, but then Sixy IGL on top of that. I think just throws an entire spanner into the works of how this team could potentially ascend a couple of notches above and or potentially, God forbid, but catapult down the rankings. These are both complete possibilities for a team like Marsborne, and I'm just so curious to see if that Prize Picks win was a flash in the pan or a more of a sign of things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they're a really good thing to bring up, because I think for the Prize Picks event, that was a really big thing for me to see. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of history, these guys playing each other, but like you said, is it a flash in the pan? Is it just kind of the one-off? We'll find out. We're going to get into this game momentarily, and there we go. First map, ready to lock and load. It is going to be Ancient. Like we said, Getting Info went for this one as their pick. So this is where, again, they're kind of putting a lot of eggs in the basket to see that, can they be able to get this win? That should guarantee them going to the three map series if needed. But this is where now we're going to see this calling ability, and Chop does get a nice little bit of a start, but look at how fast that we see that it's just picked up here from the T's. Getting Info, a great job, but now Wolfie needs to be able to find these kills. A little bit of a whiff, but can he be able to solidify this? It's not looking good right now, Paladin, but he's still alive somehow. He's kept his life intact, hopefully for the right amount of time, and now it's all down to Sixy, the last player, the new addition with the dualies. He has to pop off, and he has to activate to get 2 more kills. And he's been able to find it, but can he take Marky away? This is getting grim. This is getting nasty, but it's Sixy again!
From the calling department, it doesn't matter. Sixy's playmaking ability is still stellar. Bursting in through the smoke off of that CT spawn and just eviscerating the competition. Just no connection really between the remaining Getting Info players to try and double swing them together, giving very small 1v1 windows, but they're windows nonetheless, and a player of Sixy's caliber will capitalize on it. I was about to commend the style that Snap wanted to start off the proceedings here on Ancient with this very pacey setup into the A bomb site and making sure that he can set the tempo and just kind of create this momentum and roll over Marsborne, but that's not to be. You're already seeing the impact of a player like Sixy and what he can provide for a team like Marsborne. This is a different Marsborne, perhaps.
Yeah, very well could be. Very, very well could be, but we'll have to see if they can maintain it. And Chop, he does actually take some good damage against Slump here. So now, for Getting Info, honestly, getting the bomb down would be huge. Just getting that extra cash, but no, it looks like the money grabber is going to be here for Marsborne. Not bad at all. An easy, swift round. Everybody stays alive. They make it look very comfortable, very easy, barely breaking a sweat. But look, that's a tough round in the beginning of the pistol where, Getting Info, like they theoretically really should have had that. They had all the advantages. They had good positioning. They should have been able to just take down Sixy, but that's what we were kind of talking about, right? Like, he's still a very exciting player to watch. Like, he's definitely this guy that I've always loved seeing just his growth and what he's been able to do in the NA scene. So getting that little bit of a moment for him, like, man, that's got to just feel so good for Marsborne right now.
You can't help but root for the guy. It's a very tough, arduous road that he had over on Complexity, and now he has the opportunity to potentially run it back. And look at him just bounding through the smoke, joining hands with Chop, but the real offense is coming over to this A bomb site. It's Grizz up to bat into Donut, and sure, the rotation is coming, but still Grizz finds 2. That should be enough to hold the line here. Rotations come in with the MP9s, but Marky, head on a swivel, 3 quick kills, leaves it into a one-on-one, but he's taken significant damage, and he's just so terrified that Sixy could be lurking around any one of these corners, fakes the plant, and gets off of it. And as the smoke fades, he realizes that there's nobody. He's just chasing ghosts at this point. With a minute left on the clock, now he has a chance to piece this one together. He's going to mosey on back to this B bomb site and Sixy, confident as ever, will just plant his feet in the cave and he'll get all the sound cues. Just a chance for Marquis there, but Sixy will shut it down. And another clean 1vx situation here for the captain.
Yeah, I honestly just love the fact that we see, I think that was Chop in the very beginning that he got the, opening duel. Like there was a Molotov there on ramp. He's like, yeah, no, I don't care. I don't even care if this touches my feet. He's just going to run right through the flames, and he gets that opening duel. And you can see that T was just not ready at all. So this is where kind of the, aggression and that maybe like, a little bit off the cuff play is going to really maybe catch a team like getting info off guard. Like these guys definitely play each other. They 10 man, they, scrim each other, whatever, right? They do know these gimmicks. But this unpredictability that Marsborne's kind of throwing into this, I do like it. And now, I mean, for them, they're going to have to, take a lot out of that previous round they lost. They're going to have to just put pistols onto this. Wolfie's already got himself the op ready to go. So right now for getting info, if they can get the bomb down, it's going to be great just in terms of money. But this is going to be a lot of a commitment they're going to have to make into this, right? They got some investment. They got some utility in the Deagles, but Paladin, it's not looking great. I'm going to be honest.
No, not at all. They've gotten a lot of space. Mid control has been granted towards them, and they've gotten into the front of Jag. Dio will continue to mosey on through, but that kill's huge from Sixy. Popping open the smoke gives that lurking threat a mean right hook. But Dio's going to continue walking in. Sixy there to chime in. Instant rotation. And he's doing it all, man. The rotations have been sublime. The clutches have been great, but finally he gets put on his butt. Grizz and Chop will be there to right his wrongs, and Marsborne will keep up the clean sheet. A conversation that I'd like to approach is the situation of, I feel like Marsborne played the quote-unquote right way to play Counter-Strike on a regular basis. I think what separates them from being the best team in North America is, there's obviously a lot of factors, but I think a big factor of it is not being able to play unpredictably. And I think that just disassembles the status quo a little bit, and it makes teams harder to read into them. And it's very clear that Sixy is adding that level of unpredictability to this team, and all of a sudden, it feels like they've got a little bit more to give.
Yeah, it definitely does. Grizz going to be able to find these multi-kills. Not bad at all, Grizz. Okay. Finds himself a nice little bit of a three-piece. That'll definitely do. And I was thinking this could be a bit of an opening for getting info, but not the case. But look at Wolfie. Look at Wolfie. There he is. A little bit of a peekaboo. Even just catching somebody on the wall. This is just madness. And I can't believe it. How does Marky get away with it? This is the most NA round I've ever seen, I feel like.
Oh, bold and ballsy from Wolfie. You don't see him doing that all too often. And it completely catches getting info off guard. But Marsborne do not get the round that they were looking for. And Marky's been playing very quietly in an unreal brand of Counter-Strike over the first 5 rounds of play. He hasn't netted in a round win until then, but he's had some stellar moments. So let's see if getting info can finally quell the storm that's brewing here from the Marsborne end and try to find something to build upon. And that's certainly something. Dia with an opening 5v4. And again, getting info, looking to walk on into this A bomb site.
Yeah, it's such a round 2 and such a marquee round 2, right? To be able to find themselves their first official round into this. Now it's going to be the A-pop. You can see that Marsborne kind of just allowing it to happen. Oh, I was going to think Wolfie was going to have that dead to rights, but a little bit of a hesitation on the kill. And look at how these rifles are just starting to sing. They're creating a lot of space. And now, Marsborne, they have to save this, right? They got the M4s. They got full utility. Like, there is just no hope that they're going to be able to go for this. So very nice execution, getting info, kind of just being a little bit more quick on the calls, just going, you know what, let's go for this fight. We get it. We're not going to hesitate. They just go for the execution. And honestly, it's pretty much picture perfect. Everybody's alive. They should be able to keep all 5 players intact. That was beautifully executed. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, that's everything you could really ask for. And again, you got a solid space-taking opportunity there from Marky. Someone who's been very quiet on getting info's books for quite some time. I know there's conversations about his motivation, his approach to the game, being discarded from that Nouns project way back when. And I still think he's got a lot of talent on his shoulders. It's very clear. If anybody watching at home, you can see that level from Marky in this game, it's really just a question of how consistently can he harness that ability. Because if he can, I mean, the rifle core all of a sudden looks mighty mean on the getting info side. You look at Marky, you look at the potential that Slump can provide, and Dia as well. I think an interesting tidbit to follow through is that Slump is not opping anymore. He's staying on this team as a rifler. How can he provide on this team in a completely different role? Does he have the chops to hang around as a rifler? Or is his time on this roster's books limited?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because that's kind of what, you were mentioning at the desk too. It's just like, look, like Dia's been with the team, for just over a month. Like, he's been putting up some good performances, but like, again, can he maintain it? Well, that will definitely do. But a nice little bit of an opener. Now we're starting to see maybe Chop might be able to find this slight little bit of a chance onto this. He's still just hitting in the smoke. He might be able to find the timing, but look, they're just spamming away. They're just trying to extinguish him, and they do. So now, again, a tough situation for Marsborne. You can see the full rotate on the back end side. You can see that 60's actually going for a big old flank. He might be able to get this kill against Marky. That might be nice here for a little bit of a gun grab, but oh no, the wrong angle. Just that split second. And now Marky does have that spidey sense, and this is going to be another round given here for getting info, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like any guns are going to be picked up here for the CT side, so that's a little bit of a tough one to bite on, but not bad at all, I guess. I mean, this is a nice bounce back, though, from getting info. Again, just taking things as a unit, going for this map control slowly. They get this opening kill, and then as soon as that kill happens, they pounce, right? They don't wait. They don't overthink. I'm liking that they're being diligent. I like that they're just putting their minds kind of like, hey, look, go back to the simple, execution, the simple game plan, and it's working. We were talking a huge scoreline, and now we're talking a one-round differential.
Yeah, it's clear that getting info have a chip on their shoulder after the loss last weekend, and then also just the idea that they want to be competitive again. It definitely feel like they were floating in the wind, as it were, for quite a bit of time, wondering, is this the roster that gets them competitive? Do we have a shot in some of these tournaments? But it finally feels like with some of the more solid results that are kind of turning in their favor, some statistical improvements from good players as well, that maybe that this is the roster that turns the corner. But so far, Marsborne definitely sticking it to him. Chop now going a little bit more aggressive here in Cave. Spam setup is good. It actually lands a dink on a Shane. But this boost could still have some potency. Grizz just dancing with death there. I think that deep mid player also not finding the impact they were looking for somehow. 60 has slid all the way in through the ramp and found 2 on the MP9. Chop here to chime in, but the flick from Dia is even better. So maybe jumping the gun there over throughout the lane and getting info get away with murder into the 3v3.
Yeah, that's huge though, right? I mean, 60 just finding that double kill, and then he was able to kind of get out of that for a little bit, but unfortunately Chop just going for the swing has now created this back to the 3-3, but this is still a world where this can go either way, of course, but Dia's down to 56, Shane is critically low, like we're talking 3 HP, so this is not good at all. He has to win the first shot essentially, otherwise he's a dead man, and now Grizz, I can't even believe it, he loses that. Dia is just going off right now. He's putting up these really good kills. Nothing super flashy, but he's still getting the kills needed. Now Wolfie, I saw this before. We saw this in the first round where he was able to get that 1 kill, but can he be able to redeem himself? Can he be able to find the timing of this? Gets the planter, tucks tail, waits things out. Now he's waiting for Biz to get there. Wolfie, that's nicely done. That's a huge round, and that's it, and it's done.
Wow. I mean, listen, there's only one player in the world that I can think can lurk with an AWP, and his name's Monacy. I don't think Dia's Monacy. They got the same nationality, but that's about it. No dig at Dia, but I do think that in that situation, he should be second, third in. He should be helping as quickly as possible. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there in terms of the late round, but that's one of those situations that you would have loved to have Dia in the clutch, because he can definitely produce if the bomb is down and if he is in donut and has that space to let that scope rifle sing. But unfortunately, Marsborne capitalize on it. You've got a good 2-piece there from your rifling anchor, and getting info have to go back to the drawing board They look to Dia to try to find some answers here on that AWP. Nade open, but Dia doesn't necessarily go into a fight for it. He'll nade open the smoke again, but still won't find that answer that he was looking for.
Yeah, this one's definitely taking a little bit more of a pace onto it, right? I mean, we can see both these teams giving a bit more respect. Even Sixy just kind of sitting here in Cheetah, and now Wolfie's just trying to be the bit of distraction. Now that noise cue, that might actually lure them in, and oh, Sixy! He actually kind of commits a little bit on the swing, but nice pickup here from Snav. So this is a good start they needed here for getting info. Looking like they might want to dig onto Cave here and see what they can be able to find onto this, and now they're going to be pushing through this, and now Wolfie stuck into the corner here, joined with his teammate Shop. Still have Dia locked and loaded here onto ramp. This is a good lean here from Marsborne, but can they be able to use some of this utility to flush these players out, right? Because Dia's still waiting. Chop's just kind of on the left-hand side of this. Dia would have to swing a little bit more, and Chop might get the better of it if he committed to it. This is such an interesting round, Paladin, because again, like, they're kind of taking this slow. They're finally throwing some nades. Wolfie will go down. Biz is just waiting through this. He might be able to get the best timing in the world. That's one. And
oh, no.
Two, and there's Biz. I can't believe it. I can't believe he's able to find three just like that. And this round, this thing could be all over again.
But this time, Dia is at the scene of the crime. He's got that scope rifle handy, and he's got a couple of bodies lined up. He finds one, he dances with death, still lives to tell the tale, but finally hits the deck. Viz now looking for the ace into the 1v1 as well. Time ticking lower and lower, and Viz will complete the 5 kills in the round. It's his first 5 kills of the game, mind you, Laz. Marsborne suddenly have their 6th.
Yeah, better late than never, right? I mean, look, I know it's a little bit quiet for the guy, but look, he put up a masterclass performance. Like, the fact that he's just able to go 1, 2, 3, yes, please. And like you said, getting that ace, that's going to feel really, really good. Right now, I feel like we're kind of seeing Marsborne just putting up a lot of individual, moments of,
Which
stardom,
you don't
right?
say always, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing you never get to. 60 out in the beginning. Now we're starting to see, Wolfie was able to get himself a nice little bit of a 1-on-2 situation. Now we get another player. Like, you don't get to say that very often. So it's a sight to behold. It really is.
Yeah, and you know what? I would much rather prefer to see a Marsborne that can tussle in the dirt with a team like Getting Info than kind of rolling over on the skill checks between these one-on-ones and just saying, it's okay, you can have it. They are fighting tooth and nail here and coming out the better. Sixy has looked deadly with this SMG, and he's going to continue his antics down the ramp yet again, and there are backs turned once more. A dink found, but no kill. Sixy doesn't jump the gun, he pulls back, and you'll still have a 5-on-5 here as the dust settles.
Yeah, I do like this though, right? Like, Sixy is just playing, again, this aggression. He's just kind of like seeing what he can get away with. Oh, but I was thinking that smoke timing might be a little bit late, and Marky takes full advantage of it. And that's a really fun thing to see from Marky, right? We always kind of commented back in the day where he just get these really good timings, and there's that glimpse of it right there.
Absolutely. Now,
we're gonna 4-1 this?
I think it's totally viable. 4 from Cave is a little interesting. That Molly definitely dissuades them, and 30 seconds left on the clock. They're going to at least have to get this down to 20 seconds. Chop has an opportunity at nailing some kills here. He needs to find some kills here. Otherwise, this one might be over for the CT side. And don't forget the snake in the grass of Viz yet again. He aligns up one, but runs out of bullets in that magazine. So that bomb will hit the dirt. Grizz still ready and rearing to go. But Wolfie is all the way back in spawn. I don't think he believes in his own teammate in clutching this one up, and I don't think Grizz thinks so either. They both tuck tail. Getting Info find themselves their 4th, and it comes all in the back of Marky's entry there on that smoke timing. Very smartly put together.
It really was, and that's the thing is, like, even, Sixy can't even be like that mad about it because he was able to push, do some damage against Snav, fell back. It was really just that, 2-second little bit of timing, like throwing the smoke, and then Marky's like, you know what? Nah, I'm just going to disobey it. I'm just going to swing it, see if I get this perfect lineup, and he does. Like, it's kind of in some retrospect, a little bit of a lucky kill, but it's a good read. Like, he had a pretty good idea, the trajectory of the nade. He's like, yeah, he's got to be here. So that was a huge, impactful entry frag from Marky. Like you said, that allowed them essentially to get that round 10 pretty much in the bag for them. So now We're getting closer to the end of the first half, and now things are looking a little bit more scrappy in terms of the guns here from Marsborne. They're going to kind of scrape the barrel with, FAMAS, an MP9 again. 60's just been kind of rocking it, it feels like, this entire game, but yeah, I mean, they'll try to see what they can do with it. I do like the mixture we're seeing from the CT side. It does feel like they're mixing up their defense quite a bit. Now we're seeing 3 players B, a little bit of a change up here, leaving only, just Grizz by himself in mid. And Viz is just going to try to disobey that. Molly, I can't believe this again. This is just madness, man.
And the fact that he's been punished essentially just once in this half is truly incredible. Another boost up here for Shane. I thought he spotted a little bit of a noggin. And instead it's Viz to find a head first, and he spots another one, lands the dink but not the kill. I think he'll still be happy with the amount of information that's gained here. Now Chop will re-engage. He's got 2 more trusty teammates to cut the distance down, and Dia encroaches upon the position, but Chop is still nailing shots. Dia, though, is still so gung-ho about taking fights here, but has dropped to C4, mind you, and Wolfie's pushing through A main. This is absolute pandemonium, lads. I can't even keep track of how many players are pushing positions this quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I made a joke about it before, being like, look, that's such an NA round, and this kind of feels like the same thing. Like, each player's like, I'm going to push this. I'm going to push this by myself. Can I get away with it? Yes, I will. It just doesn't make any sense, and now this is just becoming all about a gunfight, really, and everybody's just trying to hit the best shot. There's nothing about strategy in this. This is all about just who's got the better moment to get the good aim, but that bomb being down is problematic, and especially with 18 seconds. I mean, again, they have to make a decision. They got to pick up this bomb. They got to get moving. They cannot hesitate. Chop, if he can get one of these kills, that might even be just enough. 8 seconds, an easy one. Now snap, it's done. There's just no way, because he has to spend the time to get the kill. Yes, the op will be saved and retrieved, but Marsborne, they've secured 7.
Yeah, I think I usually commend Snav and his approaches to mid-rounds on Ancient, but so far, it feels as though he's kind of overcooking in a lot of situations. I mean, you're sitting at 1:20 left on the clock there into this 3-on-3, and you spend that entire minute staring at a smoke in the 2-on-2 and then just doing nothing. And then after you actually deploy the utility, you realize you've got no choice but to run knife out to a bomb site and hope to God that somebody has just fully gambled on the other end over to the other side of the map. So I'd like to see a little bit more pace. I think that's where the effectiveness of getting info style comes from, and building off of that pick could be the name of the game. 3 kills now for getting info, and now they've got to complete this round, as they've got 1 player on both sides for the CT side, and this should be one of those layups.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward play from Grizz too. Again, he doesn't have a lot of options to work with, right? So I mean, just him kind of pushing through the smoke, he was just gambling to see what he can get away with. Not the easiest situation, but now being in the last round of the first half, I mean, Chop's going to have to pull up a pretty big play here, and he's going to have to show something pretty incredible. Otherwise, in getting info, got themselves a secured 5. But I mean, for Chop, I mean, it's not to worry about. He can just go for it. He has no utility, gets an easy kill. Shane gets a little bit too aggro, but Paladin, I mean, this is, this could be an opportunity. There is 1 player close on CT spawn. If he can flush him out, that might be it. Not the case at all. 7-5, though. Not bad at all, considering, how much it was a 4-0. We saw, some good moments here where Marsborne got a big lead, getting info kind of bouncing back into this. Despite kind of the pandemonium, like you said, pretty impressive to see this tight of a scoreline through what we saw so much out of this first half.
Absolutely, but we're going to throw it to a little bit of a break, and when we come back, that second half of map 1.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 80 Beijing, man, ain't know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price.
Well, we got to see a lot of good action here for the first half, and it does end with a 7-5. Now the sides are going to be switched up. We saw Marsborne were able to get themselves that 2-round little bit of a buffer, but now it's the moment of truth. Can we see getting info? They had a bit of a slow start, but now they kind of seem like they got the motor running, and maybe they might be able to get themselves back into this game of their map pick.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think this pistol will set that tempo again. What is 6E's T-side calling looking like? And it's another A play, very similar to the initial pistol, but this time with a bit more utility behind it. Slump first to bat, but Dia not missing a beat with the USP, bursts through, and doesn't actually complete the kill. It's Snav that will, but plenty of damage done over to this T side, and trying to get the bomb down now is going to be a nightmare because these CTs are waiting for the tap to come through, but instead they fight forward as the smoke fades, and Snav and Shane, they won't allow for 60 to have another magical moment. They're right back into this one, Laz.
Yeah, I kind of like that though. Like, I mean, despite, Marsborne not getting the round, I did like the quick execution on the A. Like, the smokes were really nice lineups. The pops were, I felt like the execution was pretty decent. It was really just the fact that Dia was able to find that double kill with the USP as the initial opener. Like, that really just stunted them. And it kind of felt like as soon as that happened, it just, the snowball was getting bigger and bigger, and things and problems were just getting bigger and bigger. But I felt like the utility was good. I felt like it was looking decent. If they would have been able to find the player behind Big Box, that could have been different. Now Slump once again going to get tested, but oh my goodness, wow. He gets absolutely deleted. And now they're going to be able to try to barrel into the site, get the bomb down. These Tech 9s, they are just starting to roar, and this bomb will indeed get the plant.
And now trying to retake against these close-range guns is going to be very difficult still. Even with the flying MP9 from Shane, Wolfie chimes in with the MAC-10 and spots out another head encroaching upon the temple. Look at this, more aggression, this time from the SMG of Viz. It's left Dia in an impossible situation. Yes, he's got a kit. Yes, he's got a smoke. He knows where all of these players are, but he can't seem to find any shots actually to connect. And finally, he gets dealt with. Marsborne battle back, trying to bully into this A bomb site. And you're starting to see a little bit more ferocity and more punch from this T side out of Marsborne out of the gates.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this opening duel is so big, right? Because like Marky was close, like, but he wasn't kind of in the right position, right? It felt like he was just a few seconds off. Like, you know, Slump, of course, wasn't expecting to get, you know, bested like that. But I love that Marsborne just, again, like put the Tech 9s, so like, look, let's put these into close quarter fights. Let's just like try to see what we can be able to find. And the fact that, you know, Slump goes down that quickly, that really just seemed to open up the floodgate. But right now, I mean, Viz does take a significant amount of damage, 48 against him. Now he's just spraying frantically to see what he can be able to find. Some trades back and forth through middle, but it is still going to be a decent position here for Marsborne. These pistols from getting info, they're going to have to pack a little bit more punch than what we're seeing. And then it does look like that mid control is going to be obtained, and 60, he might even try to be a bit more adventurous and kind of go through red. He's just going to try to clear as much as possible. This kill can be really big, and that's not bad at all. And he's still hunting this through. He's still hungry for more kills. He might just even post up and wait things out. This is becoming a problem for getting info. Oh, never mind. This might even be more of a problem for 60 if he can't find this kill, and indeed it will. So that's going to be a free AK. That's up for grabs.
Yeah, but look how much it gravitates all of these CTs towards this position. He had 3 players looking at him from all avenues of the red room, and that gives a free bomb plant over back to the T side. But there is a very dangerous lurk brewing here for Marky, and he capitalizes it instantly onto Wolfie. Into the 2v2 we go. No kits involved here, so time is of the essence. Grizz and Chop cowering behind in the backlines here in the CT spawn, and that flash is good to get Chop off the angle, but now the duels have to come through. The shots connect, and Chop finds both. 9 on the board for Marsborne. The force buy is quelled, and now it seems like we're turning a corner in the favor of the T's.
Yeah, it's such a good, important detail you bring up because, you know, I think 60, again, like you said, he played such an important role in that round. Like you said, like you could see getting info was so laser focused onto him. Like you said, the fact that 3 players were committed to that fight, that's where the positioning got really disjointed, right? That's where Marsborne's like, okay, hang on. Like, they're really paying attention to 60. Let's just take advantage of going for the site control. And I love that you bring up that detail because it is important. They were wanting to get that rifle. They wanted to be able to win that fight, to putting them in a bit better an advantage. But now, I mean, this advantage is going to pan out nicely for Marsborne. They get an easy kill. That A site wide open. Like, it is for the taking. The CTs, nowhere near it. They're playing the CT spawn. They're playing that red room, you know, passive angle. They thought that this was going to be a different play. And even the fact that 60 is, again, going for this crazy aggression when he doesn't need to, you can tell these guys are feeling it. They know they don't have to worry about the weapons they're going against, but you can easily just play this passive and conservative, and they should have it, you know, done and dusted. But 60, he wants to pick up the extra coin with that Mac 10. A triple kill will do, and now we're at 10 rounds here from Marsborne. Fast control once again, though.
Yeah, here we go. Straight into this B-bomb site. Snap takes out his gun, but he can't get it out in time. The trades are so magnificent. This orchestrated chaos from Marsborne just looks to do the trick time in and time out. And this one might be one to just knock them out completely. Marky will, I'm assuming, save just with how he's bounding away, but man, oh man, Laz, this is just, I'm at a loss for words to see stylistically, culturally, how different Marsborne look right now and how much better they look because of it.
Yeah, it like, honestly, it's such a good thing you bring up because, you know, we were talking about that in the beginning because we were saying, like, look, it really does change a lot, right? Because we were saying, like, when you replace an IGL, like, your vision, the positions, the roles, the confidence, you know, the communication, everything can change. Like, everything can really just become different. And I think we're seeing that right now because They're playing a lot more aggressive. They're really just getting in the face. They're really just being assertive. Like, that's the thing. Like, we always talked about the old Marsborne where they always had really good reads and they always had these good situations for counters, but that firepower and then sometimes just letting, big opportunities really just fall right in front of them. This is not the case anymore. This is looking like a Marsborne that we can get super excited about. And with 11-6, like, it really is just starting to become their game, their map right now. And this was the pick for getting info, right? Like, I cannot emphasize that enough, because when you go for a map pick like this, I was kind of impressed to see what they've been able to do, but right now they are getting bested on everything.
Absolutely. Smoke up into the donut. Firm mid control established here for the T side, and Chop is looking to encroach upon this B side. I think this is a little overzealous considering how on an island he is. And that gun is recoverable, so lane control established for the CT side, but the problem is, as Grizz has just snuck all the way through the red room, you've got a late look from Viz. This A bomb site is very quickly under siege, whether Marky and Slump know it or not, and Viz is just doing it all on his lonesome. Slump should be dealt with, and he absolutely will. Grizz chimes in for a couple more, and we've got ourselves map point for Marsborne. I think another big point that I'd like to bring up is the amount of times that I feel like, yes, they would have the right reads under Wolfie, but somehow they would overcook it, where they would have the right idea, and then they would go to their other bomb site with like 20 seconds left on the clock. I like the decisiveness from Sixy here. You get 2 picks, you commit to the bomb site. You get map control, you use that to get into a split into a bomb site straight away. Finish the round in 30 seconds or less. Sometimes, there will need to be a little bit more nuance, but I think for right now, that simplicity is making these individuals look much better.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. And right now, Snav, he actually is going to get away with that. I mean, 60 with a little bit of a TK, but I mean, again, they took so much damage to get into that control, and now getting info. They're making this a potentially flawless round here for round number 19, so not bad at all. But again, it's a long road, right? We need 6 to get to overtime. If they can be able to find this, it's going to go down. So this is a decent buffer right now for Marsborne, but again, getting info. I mean, we have seen them kind of do some crazy things in the past, right? We have seen them be able to make some crazy games, but this is going to be a pretty decently long road for them. But I think even for a round like this, it kind of blundering the way it did, not even a big sweat for Marsborne, right? They were just kind of testing the water, still just kind of mixing the playbook. This gives a lot of opportunity right now for 60 to just kind of even think, okay, look, do we just go back to what we were doing before? Do we want to mix things up, kind of a little bit differently? Like, they have that room to do that, and that's a good position to be in. When you get it, getting info in double digits, that's when you might get a little bit more, scared in the sense that the comeback could be a reality.
Well, let's see what damage Grizz can do here with 25 seconds left on the clock. Any damage is good damage, as always. But shadow advantage given over to Slump. He should be aware for this fight. You see all these CTs gravitating, but Slump will take care of the job himself. And getting info live to tell the tale yet again. 5 rounds the difference now. And it sounded like somebody DC'd there for a second. Okay, all guns are still up. We're all good.
I know, I kind of had that. I know, and that's all suspicion. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I was like thinking the same thing. I'm like, do I say it? I don't want to say it. And then you're like saying it. I'm like, okay. Hang on. Maybe we're on to something. Maybe it's all good. But nonetheless, like you said, guns are out. Got Wolfie with the op. Got a Dio with an op as well. So just singular both sides. Dia playing a pretty important role. Like, he's, again, sitting on the top here with his team. But can he do some more heavy lifting? And now you see, like, again, we see Grizz just kind of playing by himself. He's trying to do in this one-man army a little bit of an attempt, but look at how fast, like, getting info. They've committed 3 players essentially to be ready for the plan of attack here on A, if that does happen.
But the problem isn't necessarily dealing with the A hit, it's dealing with this red room control that Marsborne have been able to exploit round in and round out. And yet again, they got the entrance to it secure. Now, if they can continue to scale, that's going to be a real danger point. But they've got 4 players dealing with this A-split potential. And look at this, man. 3 players moving back over. They've got front jack control. They've got front lane control as well. They're considering this B bomb site. And eventually, getting Info are going to have to give up on this idea. They move back over to B. And now Viz has the perfect timing to capitalize.
Oh, this could be so big. It absolutely could. He might be able to find the perfect timing onto this too, but you can see that Snap still kind of, again, has a little bit of a sense that this could possibly happen. And he spots the one, but oh, I can't even believe it. I can't believe this gets away with the double kill, man. I thought they were going to be able to read that. He just turned away at the wrong moment. He doesn't get that kill on the Snap. Who cares? But he's been able to find that double. So now things are getting a little bit more awkward. That bomb is going to be dropped. Marsborne ready to go. An attempt to see if they can close this thing out with a 13-7. Wolfie planted here with the op. Misses the shot. Snap's able to take him and best him. And now 60, hungry for more. He's able to find that double. And he wants to get the triple. Why the hell not? Marsborne will be able to find the first map victory.
107 DAR here from the newly minted captain of Marsborne, and boy oh boy is this a reinvigorated roster. 60 dropping 20 kills and then making sure the culture of this team looks so much more confident and poised, ready for action under every single situation that comes before them. This is a team that already just looks leagues above what they were before. I mean, I'm just so much more excited about this team. The playmaking ability, the star power of this rifle corps all of a sudden whirs to life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I really felt like we got to see a lot of really big moments, right? From, it felt like everybody. Like, it felt like, you know, we saw 60 doing it. We saw Grizz getting in some good opportunities. We saw Chop, you know, performing decently well. I know he wasn't putting up the crazy stats, but he got some important kills. And Marsborne, it just felt like everybody just kind of, you know, waited for everybody to make a big play, and then they're all on the same page, and then they're all just putting up this, you know, individual moments. And like, even like that, where Viz is able to get a double, like you said, it's just, it's absolute madness, man. And that's what's so exciting about seeing a game like this, where 60, you know, joins the team. There's all this conversation about what's going to happen. Is it going to be the right thing, the wrong thing? You have all these questions, but when a guy goes in like that and he's just, you know, kind of flexing the muscles of like, look, like I played some tier 1 experience, you know, I played with some really good competition, and now he's just showing it, right? Now he's calling and he's fragging. Like, you couldn't ask for anything more here from Marsborne. That was a very, very impressive, you know, new team that we're seeing, and that was honestly such an exciting game. But look, we could dive into this for a long, long time, but we do got to take that little bit of a break as we get ready to go into the second map, which will be Train of Marsborne's pick. So we're going to take a break. We'll see you in a little bit.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. Feet. feet, this is a shakedown.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're ready to go for map number 2, and it is going to be on train. So this is where Marsborne have gone for this pick. But now the question really will be, has Getting Info been able to cool things off with a big loss on the first map, or could this thing be done and over with a 2-0 here, Paladin?
I think we're headed to sweep territory, because I think Getting Info really struggled to approach this map from just an identity standpoint. I don't know how they actually want to approach this map, no matter how many times I've watched them play it. I think they don't understand about trying to take T-Con control on a regular basis. I think their executes are pretty lackluster. I think they don't have that player that could potentially unlock them. I mean, I will say that Dia could be that guy, because now you do have a pretty consistent opera that is mobile enough to get to point A and point B. But again, I'm still very worried about how they approach their T sides, that I still feel like Marsborne have got a great understanding, even just from Wolfie's experience calling on this map. I think Lucid has done a good job in instilling some good fundamentals into this team for how they approach this map, that I just feel like even if 6E feels a little rough around the edges in terms of how he wants to approach a more technical map like Train, I still think that they are fundamentally just a more sound team in a situation like this.
Yeah, no, and I think the one thing for me that, you know, when we kind of go back into the head-to-head when these guys have played each other, I mean, again, we did talk about this in the beginning, but we'll bring it up now. I mean, when they played the Prize Picks event, they actually did play this map. Like, this went to the third map, right? This was a 13-8 that was in favor for Marsborne, but the one thing that was really interesting, though, is the fact of the T side was quite poor from Marsborne. Like, it wasn't the same, like, it didn't, you know, it wasn't really the same scoreline we saw from like a map like Ancient. They were only able to get the four rounds in the beginning, and then it was kind of a bit of a sweep where Getting Info was able to get themselves back in the game. But really, it was the CT side for Marsborne in that Prize Pick event that they were able to kind of bring themselves back into it. They actually swept the entire thing, right? They were the ones that they looked so much better on the CT side. You made a comment a little bit about Getting Info kind of not really looking great, and Foundation's not good, and the fundamentals seem to be lacked. I agree. Like, I think now that we're seeing them, you know, win the first map the way they did, they're going to be feeling really good. They've played each other before, so again, you can kind of study off of that as well. So this is where 6E's been able to have a bit more time as well to kind of maybe, you know, elevate the playbook a bit more and to kind of change things up. So I don't think we'll see that same scoreline we saw, you know, a couple weeks ago or the week or so ago. But look, I mean, I'm just going to be curious what will be different from Getting Info, just because it was lackluster, right? The only saving grace was that CT side.
Yeah, and not to mention, I think on that offense, taking way too much time in the mid-round, where they're not necessarily getting anything out of the mid-round, which is something that I don't necessarily point towards Getting Info and I say, yeah, a Snav-led team would waste time. I do think that there's got to be a little bit more pep in the step of, okay, we've got 50 seconds left on the clock. Let's take some map control, get ourselves into a position that when we do execute, we've got a snap decision that puts us into a favorable situation. Because I don't feel like that's been the case throughout the entire offensive half for Getting Info on Ancient, which is the map that I do think that they're very well versed on. So now that we get into a position where I feel like sometimes they struggle to realize what parts of the map are important, i.e. T-Con, we'll see if they've kind of seen what the issue is on that side of the map and improved upon it. But even with that map control, do they actually have the explosiveness to count upon it? I think that I'd like to see something a little bit more pacey out of Snav. I think just getting 4 or 5 rounds, or 3 or 4 rounds, I think is enough on the T side. If you've got Dia firing on all cylinders, you can use that CT side as a bit of a crutch and run it back. But if that's not the case, this is going to be a very difficult road for the Getting Info side to pull us to a third map of Overpass, which, mind you, if we do get there, I think that the script immediately flips. I think that's where you could say, yeah, you know, Snav has been very formidable on this map as a caller throughout his career, and this Getting Info side has got a lot of well-drilled fundamental built upon years of playing together. But of course, we have to get there, and I think this is going to be their biggest test in the series.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's the other thing, just kind of the last comment I want to make about the prize pick event is that, you know, you made the good point about Dia, right? Like, he is this guy on Getting Info that, you know, him being such a strong opper and like what he's able to bring into the server, like if it's lacked, you definitely notice it. And like when they played the last time, he actually had the lowest rating. Like, he was sitting at a 0.63. He was, you know, behind Shane. Like, everybody else was, you know, well above him. Like, he was clearly one of the worst ranked players in that server. And then Sixy actually took that, you know, a little bit on the top where he was a 0.54. So where we saw Sixy playing really well on Ancient, and that might not even be the case here at all. But like you said, the T side is going to be very interesting for both these teams because, yeah, getting that 3, 4, 5 rounds would be awesome, but that's where Getting Info, just even, you know, getting more than what they got last time is going to be huge leaps and bounds of what they've been able to do. So I am kind of wondering what we're going to get out of this because, again, this is a bit of a do or die situation a little bit here for Getting Info because they absolutely do need to push this to a third. And I agree with you. I do think that if we go to Overpass, this really does turn into a very unique, you know, BO3 in the sense that it really could be, in my opinion, anybody's game. But I'm just going to be curious if, you know, Wolfie can put up a bit more of a performance with the op. There's so many questions that I have, but I think we're getting closer and closer to this, and that's what makes it exciting. And honestly, I love that we're seeing the elevated play for Train just because, like, I feel like it's getting better and better. Like, every time I see it, I get more and more excited.
Yeah, I think that Marsborne is definitely a team that have adopted this map quite a bit into their stead, and they've really impressed me with how they approach the C-sides, at least the Wolfie-led roster. Now, a 60-led one might still be good, but we've got a whole lot of chaos on the other end. It's a burst into this A-bomb site straight away, but Markey gets the first blood.
Gets the first blood. He's going to look for a little bit more, so now these CTs are just racking up the kills, and this T side was looking a little bit scary. How does this happen? How does it just turn around like that? I was thinking this round was over. I was kind of already getting ready to say, yeah, Getting Info, they get it done. They make it look pretty swift. They make it look easy. Now it gets complicated. Sixy again puts up this double kill. Wolfie should be able to find this kill. My goodness, he does. Bombs on the other bomb site, and now Wolfie, he's just playing mind games, and D has to burn the time. Oh, this is not a good situation at all.
But at the very least, Dia has picked up a kit, picks up a Glock, so the fight is fairly even here. But a ton of sound cues being given over. Dia will continue to just try to see if he can figure out where Sixy is, but looking at all of these different angles, he's thinking he's in the back lanes, he could be in Evan, he could be on Brown Halls. But Sixy was right next to him the whole time. Another huge 1vx won by the captain, and Marsborne flipped the script on a 2v5.
I just can't believe it because, again, this is like 2 for 2 now that we've seen the pistol rounds, right? It was the first map on Ancient, first half, like, Sixy's getting that triple kill. Sixy does it again. Like, he somehow gets into that bomb site. He slips through behind enemy lines, gets that double kill, caught them off guard. They had no idea he was there. And it's all up to him putting up the heroic play. And that's what gained them this, you know, first opening round again. So you love to see it. And that's a critical mistake here from Getting Info. But they do put a lot of investment into this. They got the scout, they got the MP9s out. They're going to try to see what they can do with this. Markey needs to be able to pop off onto this, and it's only a one and done. But look at how fast the T's just bombard this site. They got 2 CTs on the other side of it. Slump finds a double kill. Is Viz going to be able to read this one as well? Dia on the skin of his teeth, surviving onto this. It's turned into a one-on-one gunfight. I don't know how we got here, and it somehow goes in favor for Getting Info. You've got to be kidding me.
I think Slump had a collateral deagle headshot. If I'm not mistaken, I think from camera, he was able to find a gap in that smoke. Yeah, we'll get a little bit of a replay perhaps. But I was about to praise the popping, beautiful play from Marsborne and the way they were able to cut down distance with those SMGs, but all of a sudden, Slump pulls a rabbit out of the hat, and he was deathly silent on our first map. Need a lot more out of him here, and this time it's Shane that's gonna have to come up to bat. A completely underrated anchor here from the back of the blue train, finds 2, or at least 1.5, but Wolfie with a quick response, a scoop up the rifle, and this 3v3 retake looks good for the T's.
Yeah, this looks really, really good, and the fact that Wolfie is still putting a lot of pressure onto this gonna make it really problematic, because if he can actually find the timing through the smoke, he might be able to find an extra kill, but Dia does one even better, and now 60 once again in a multi-kill situation. D is critically low. If he would have been able to find it, that would have turned into the 1v1. But you know what? Despite this round from Marsborne, it was really decent. They're still able to get 3 kills. They're able to get that bomb down, getting a little bit of extra cash on the board here. Not going to look too bad. Yeah, their money situation's not the greatest. 3,100, 2,500 bucks, not the best. But you know what? Considering, you know, what they were working with, really not bad at all.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy with it. I mean, obviously it was the force buy, so they do have to take a full save here. Getting the bomb down gives another chance to some Tech 9s maybe. But getting info, having a little bit more gumption to them now. Dia getting off the board, Slump activating a little bit more as well. And Shane with a quick double. And again, as I mentioned before, I think he's a very severely underrated anchor within North America. And so far, stepping up to the plate, getting a massive double there to start off the proceedings. If he's limited to only 1, a rifle scooped up, who knows? I think that can potentially spiral out of control very quickly, but not to be the case. And if you're thinking about the CT side, you want as many as you could possibly scoop up before Marsborne get their guns out and get a couple more on the board.
Yeah, it's a decent round because, I mean, for getting info, just keeping the 5 alive and just getting these easy kills, not bad at all. And now we're talking about a 3-1. You know, again, that second round was just, it's just madness too, right? Because, I mean, that should have, you know, again, on paper, should have been Marsborne's, but now we're seeing getting info looking a lot better on the CT side. That's what we were kind of talking about a bit before the last time these guys played each other. So this is kind of the moneymaker. These guys need to get as many rounds as possible on the CT side, just to kind of like allow that extra padding of, you know, discomfort that's going to be on the T side. But now we're in a full gun round. This is where this gets a little bit more interesting for 60 to see what he's going to be able to call into this for the group. Some decent Molotovs that's going to try to flush, you know, just on the corner of into the ladder. So this will be, again, just kind of playing it slow, waiting things out a little bit. Nothing too antsy, nothing over-committed onto this, but look at how fast that we see Dia's been able to push through this. I can't even believe they get that free real estate. I cannot believe that's how they're going to be able to find this. And now Shane again is able to find a 4K.
1 mag. I think that's just 1 mag of the MP9. The fadeaway double headshot there from Shane. Massive moment there. And I mean, I admire the call from Marsborne to just say, we've got the snap decision. We've seen how far aggressive they are off of Ivy and that they're not pulling away. There's 2 players trying to deal with that situation. Let's pounce on that B bomb site. But despite this, Shane with a massive moment there. And it completely stifles this poppy style to this offense from Marsborne. That now that you don't have that A game going, how does the B game work? Maybe Wolfie can provide some answers for us. And he certainly will. A quick couple of kills from him. And he's causing so much commotion in the defensive lines that Chop has walked all the way out and he's dealt with Shane, the danger man from these previous rounds. Grizz will rip another head off. And that should be the bounce back here from this T side.
Yeah, that makes just like absolutely no sense. I mean, again, you got to give a lot of credit here for Wolfie because, you know, I kind of noticed it on the minimap. I was like, okay, he actually made it through T-Con. He was able to kind of slip kind of through the smoke. There was a bit of a spam. Like you could tell he was kind of looking both directions. He didn't really know. But honestly, the fact that he was able to kind of slip through there, he only took a bit of damage and getting that timing. You saw how fast getting info just reacted to it. They're like, okay, hang on, why is he here? And then everybody turned their attention. Then again, allowing Chop to be right here in that position to get that kill, and then they just bombard the site. Honestly, it just a little bit of microplay, but the fact they took advantage of a situation that probably shouldn't have been theirs, that is quite beautiful.
I think even if Chop doesn't get a kill there, there's still easy burst potential out of that B bomb site. 60 had made the right read there, 100%. And now, Wolfie had a chance at a flick, but Viz is there to trade his ex-captain. But more aggression out from Dia. Still wants to hold on to Ivy for as long as humanly possible. But once again, there's a player in hell here. Another opportunity at Viz to find some damage, and he absolutely will. Spins around, can't capitalize on Slump. A missed shot there, and 60 actually picks up the AWP. We're going to continue this chaos throughout this series, folks. This upper bracket final is one for the books and then some. Chop now trying to contact his way out of Z. 60 switches back over to the rifle, finds Marky. And now they can encroach upon this A bomb site very swiftly. There's no lurks brewing or anything. It's just raw duels, and 60 will keep on winning them.
This is crazy. Like, again, just the fact that they're able to take things so slow, winning these fights, and now Shane might be able to save the day here for getting info. Chop has been a little bit quiet on this one with only one kill. Now looking to find his second, maybe. He gets it teed up and nicely done. Op going to be picked up for the reward as well. Again, the fact that they go aggressive, they just park the brakes. You can see that getting info or just fighting for this map control. They've been able to take Ali, what, 2 for 2 now, if not 3 for 3? And then all of a sudden, when it gets into these mid-late rounds, that's when getting info is making a lot of mistakes, and that's where Marsborne, they're capitalizing on it. So this is some really great calling and late round calling from Danny, because that's where it gets really tough. And right now, he's kind of besting against, you know, the CT IGL.
I mean, it's clear that he has a great understanding of the micro of the game and just creating snap decisions. As soon as he's got the information, he's synthesizing the response instantaneously, and that takes a lot of guts to do. And look at the beautiful flash there from 60. Shane still responds with a quick double in his own regard. So we're still into the 3v3, but again here, you've got the call and response here from the T side. Viz now reclaiming space on this A bomb site, trying to see if he can catch a straggling CT. And even if he isn't, he's getting just so much information as to where the defense is potentially exploiting this map of Train. And now he'll encroach. He spots out Snav. He's able to smoke off camera, and now the rest of his teammates can join hands.
Yeah, the fact that Viz is able to push himself in this kind of an aggressive position, this could create a lot. Grizz is going to be able to just get the running kill, so good positioning now. That smoke's going to allow that extra time for the bomb plant. Now Snav and Slump in a bit of a tight position here. This is going to be difficult to retake on. You have Wolfie that's just posted up in T-Con. This is beautiful, but he can't get the shot. He misses it. Oh boy, they need to be able to get this crossfired, and they do. Now they're going to spray the AKs. They will get it done. I don't think there'll be enough time to pick up the op. I think it's going to be a bit too... Oh, just missed it, but... Look, I mean, this is... Okay, we're seeing the riflers playing really, really well. That round, like you said, or that moment on the replay was great because 60 threw some good utility, allowing Chop to be able to get the multi-kills. I'm getting a little bit, if I'm being honest, I'm getting a little bit nervous about Wolfie kind of missing some of these op shots because it does feel like he should have them honestly in the bag, but he's not. So that's where I'm hoping, again, his score's decent, but I'm hoping we're not going to see him kind of fumble these shots when they need him to land it.
Yeah, you know, you switch over to the defense. Holy, that's Dia straight through the smoke. Hold on a second. There's still that chaotic affair happening here in the early round for Marsborne. Wolfie, though, he'll nail a shot there off of Ivy. And Grizz will continue to complement that. Shane, though, try as he might. He's trying to pull getting info back into this game, but both of these positions have been noted. Shane now bell rung, and he'll be taken down. But yeah, that's the big thing for me, is that if Wolfie's not able to capitalize now and get set, it's going to be a real problem on the defense where you need that long line to be held onto by the CT Opper. So I think that's a very key point you're talking about, Laz, that will be an interesting point to see moving into that second half as well.
Yeah, because I mean, like historically, like Train is like it still is in this current meta and everything, but like historically, you know, the ops were just like they make such an impact on this map, right? But we're kind of seeing the way that Marsborne's playing, like they're utilizing the rifles honestly perfectly. Like they're playing everybody in the right positions. They're getting that good aggression. They're getting the map control needed to win some early duels. Like the operas really are creating space like you normally can see. So that's where I'm getting really impressed to see what they're doing on this T side, but it does make me a little bit worried for someone like Wolfie, where he still can bring a lot of influence to the server, but it's just getting a little bit lacked. Now we're going to see the inner pop going to happen. Snap again finds a double, man. He can't have enough bullets in the chamber to get it, but Shane's going to be able to find it for him. So these guys lock it down. Shane has been playing a great game. Like he's sitting at a 12-7. He's just been locking it in. He, like you said, very underrated as an anchor, and he's been lights out. Like he really has just been performing at this high level, and I feel like he's been kind of a saving grace for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be thanking their lucky stars and then some. Wolfie now thrust into a pretty much impossible clutch. Gets into the smoke, go to the T and the CT, but Snap comes out on top. They pick up a secondary that they can utilize, but oh, actually, never mind. Rifle pick back up. But we go evens at 5. And I actually really like the call from 60 here to go contacting out the B bomb site. Maybe if you had one flash to boot, that could have been interesting. But they were hoping to get a free kill. And Snap just had the right timing in terms of the rotation back through Z, making sure that Shane has got a Guardian Angel from the back lanes.
Yeah. No doubt. Some big damage against 60 already, down to 69, so Diaz just going to post up on the alley. Ooh, I think the ball flash actually does miss. Yeah, it's a little bit of a blunder. Some noise, they're going to double swing this. Oh no, the timing though, it's just a little bit lacked. Grizz at least can get this kill, sure, but it feels like a little bit too late. Marky now finding some activation. He's getting a little bit more aggressive. The 3-on-2 now for the advantage of the CTs. Chop and Grizz, the last two players alive here for Marsborne. And they're kind of split apart from each other, right? I mean, now you have Chop that's kind of just posted up into Pop, right? He's just kind of waiting things out. Now you have Grizz just kind of, again, joining his team. Chop wins a fight. I don't really think there's any reason for Marky to commit to that swing. Like, I mean, I know he's getting intel, but he overswung that, and this could be costly. This could be dangerous now, and Shane is in the position that he might be able to stunt them again. I don't think they're going to be able to predict this. Grizz, you got to look. Oh my goodness, and he does. Now it's just down to Slump, and I can't believe they get away with it. They get away with murder, Paladin.
You know, Marky giveth, Marky certainly taketh away as well. Of course, that is the kill that breaks the round open. As soon as Chop nails his timing there, it's all over. I mean, at that point, you have so many lanes that open up for the T side that Grizz waltzes over through the back of the red train, has got so much positioning to kind of look to, and he's got no real time crunch to really go through all the progressions. He finds his man very clearly, and Chop can get out safely. Marsborne get themselves their 6th. Now you're seeing some smart late round protocols from the chemistry that's been built on this map for Marsborne. And getting in for it, now scrounging for answers. They're going to go surging through a Molotov, and now Marky is just left spinning out of this round.
Yeah, big kill. Nicely done from 60, and this like flushes them out. And like you said, we're starting to see some really good teamwork and from Marsborne and getting info. Like I do like that they were trying to, you know, fight for the holes control. They were trying to do something a little bit different, but I don't know if it's a little bit too late, right? It kind of felt like they were just pushing alley, and that kind of felt like that was the only thing, right? We didn't really see them pushing all the time. I'm not saying you have to as a CT, but when you have some of these different aggressions and trying to fight for some real estate, that's a good thing to do. And now Slump gets a little bit of intel, but Snav's going to go down quickly. And then now they know a player's there. 60 is just single-handedly putting this round into his hands again. He has now been able to find 4 kills, and he's created all the space in the world, and it's down to 1 player only. It is Shane. He's by himself in a situation of a 1-on-4. He has to do the impossible. He has a smoke. He has an MP9. He doesn't have much to work with. Flash is coming in. A smoke's going to block it off. 60 primed up, ready to maybe hit this home run, and Shane now realizing, what do? I have nothing to work with. I have an M4. I'm trying to see what I can gamble, but his position is the worst. Sixy should be able to get the job done, and this could be a 7-5, and indeed it will. Sixy will be able to find himself that ace. We're going to take the break as we get ready for the second half through this chaos of train. Well, it was a 7-5 in the first map. It looks like we're going that same path here. Was Marsborne is able to get themselves a 2-round buffer and showed us a very impressive T side. Now the question is, can they seal it? Can they be able to, shine bright here on the CT side and get this thing done in a 2-0 Paladin? It feels like it could be.
They're going to need a lot in terms of this offensive half as far as getting info is concerned. And it starts with the pistol. They get into the A bomb site. There's nobody to greet them. Everybody falls away. And now they encircle the outer yard. Chop comes in alongside Grizz to clear out T-Con. Snav is here to greet them. A shot through, but no collection. Finally, the kills start coming every which way. Wolfie with 2 on the dual Berettas. Can't connect long range. It thrusts Grizz into a 1-on-2. And he's got both these players pinned to where Heaven used to be. He finds Slump but cannot find Shane. More impact here from your most supportive element, shining bright on the offensive pistol.
Oh, man. Okay, for getting info, that's going to feel pretty good, though, right? I mean, it came down to the 1v1, essentially, and yeah, it was a bit of a scrappy round, but nonetheless, like, they get the bomb, they get the round, now they got themselves some good guns, but my goodness, that could have gone. I was kind of thinking if Grizz had that extra, half a second, he could have repositioned, made things a little bit more interesting. But nonetheless, playing the double buddy system, really, really nice here from getting info. Now this is important because Marsborne have put a lot of investment into this. Big Force, they're going to put double players into Alley. They're actually going to try to swing onto Marquis, but he's going to get the better of one. Now he's still hunting for more. You can see he's doing everything in his abilities, but this is just looking bad and worse as we move on. Getting info, 5 alive, and they've only taken a bit of damage throughout this round, which is a bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I do think those ideas that you saw from 6E on Ancient can work in a close range scenario. These longer lines on Ivy, a lot more difficult to actually make work in real time. So clearly can see some growing pains in Marsborne and how they want to approach the CT side here. And they did give us a couple of opportunities to Wolfie, but he will go down and leaves it off the Chop. And I thought a shoulder was spotted, but Chop will at least find one. Lands another dink and a kill on a Snav, so nice little bit of money being racked up here for Wolfie, and nearly had a third on his plate. But getting info will equalize here, and they should be able to slightly take the lead as there is a full eco on board in round number 15.
Yeah, still really good efforts from Chop, though, because like you said, if he would have been able to find that triple kill, yeah, probably not going to be the round, but again, just that extra money really would have been a nice little bit of a buffer, because he's sitting at $3,700, so not bad at all. This is obviously going to be a very much a big save here for these guys, but, getting info, they've been able to do better than what they did last time. They're now got themselves 2 rounds on the T side. This is starting to look a little bit better. Now the question is, can they handle this a little bit of aggression? The CTs are pushing Tico on. They're trying to get this control, and I can't believe it. There's still 2 alive on this, and one of the players is low. Now it's just down to Chop by himself here with just a limited pistol. But man, if Snap overpeaks this by himself and Chop finds him, we're talking about a 1v1 where I never thought we would be here.
This complete freeze from getting info allows Chop to remaneuver. I think he's considering that it's a B play, and he'd actually be exactly right. He's going to hear all these footsteps, and I believe Shane has the bomb. Shane absolutely has the bomb, and he's going to clear everything.
No.
And he can. But the miss from Chop costs him dearly. Oh,
no way.
Around in the palm of his hand, and it just goes falling through those fingers.
Oh man, that is the worst feeling, right? Like, that's what we talk about. Look at, he just misses it, man. If he would have been able to get that, it would have been a free AK. And then Snav, like I said, 1 HP. The round would have just flipped completely, where the odds would have been heavily in favor for him. Oh, it just sucks, right? You just miss it. It's the worst feeling in the world. But look, still a very good round from Marsborne. They do a ton of damage. They put a lot of, pressure on the economy here for the T side. But now we get into it. Now this is the meat and gravy. This is the guns are out, the op is out. T-Con is grabbed up here from the CT side, and they're going to be able to back off of this a little bit. So they've been able to fight some good map control out of this situation, and getting info. They now need to get some info, because right now it's been Marsborne doing it.
Very close up to T-Con, go getting info. I think they want to accelerate if they at least find something. That smoke will delay things, at least temporarily. All of a sudden, it's a complete slowdown. And again, just no T-Con control or re-clearing out from getting info means that they're going to have to burn a lot of time out of the clock to actually claim this part of the map once again. 55 seconds left on the clock, and now that smoke's faded, they're thinking about it. So they molly deep, and now they're thinking about bursting through. E-Box is now cleared up for the T side, and they've got a real clear avenue here to kind of go in. But another smoke back up onto the E-Box, or back into Pop Dog, and again, another slowdown. There's a 35-second timer on their heads right now, and they're going to eventually have to go straight gray screen through these, or they're going to have 10 seconds left on the clock to get this bomb down.
Oh, I hate this. I absolutely hate this for getting info. They're waiting way too long. You're talking 20 seconds. They have to go now. They have to make the play. The CTs are in such a better position for this. Smoke going to get thrown. They are going to be able to find these kills. They're loading the kill feed. I don't know how they get away with this with one player remaining. 8 seconds now on the clock. They have to force the plant. And Sixy trying to wait things out. I thought he was going to be able to find the timing, but he gets the one. Limited bullets in the chamber. He has to go for the reload. This is awkward. This is weird. And I don't understand how getting info find this round. It should have never been theirs, and I can't believe it worked for them.
Yeah, that feels like a vintage Marsborne round where they have the right read, they've got all the players in the right places, but they can't actually get it over the line. Viz has an opportunity in dealing with the T-Con pressure and isn't able to actually win that head-to-head on Marky, and all of a sudden, that opens the floodgates for the players out in Z to get out for free. Because if Marky goes down, that's where Viz can slide back through and deal with another prong of that Z attack, and you've got a completely different round altogether, but it doesn't happen. Getting info lived to tell the tale, and they are clawing their way through this game. Because, you know, I don't necessarily think it's going to be the prettiest version of themselves if they want to actually win this game. But at the end of the day, if they can get overpass, I think they'll be very happy for themselves.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, this is now really just kind of turning around in a little bit in the sense that, you know, it felt like, you know, the 7-5 was a really good T side from Marsborne. This thing is now kind of flipped in the sense that, you know, getting info, they're playing a lot better of a T side than what I was kind of expecting. They're already, you know, 4 up, which is already a big improvement. Some of these rounds have been very close. Like, we obviously won't discredit that, but it feels like Marsborne kind of not playing the same way we saw in Ancient, obviously, where a lot of, you know, individuals were getting their big moments to shine. Obviously not the same case here. It's a little bit different. Sixy's still putting up a really good performance right now with that 18 and 12, but right now for getting info, it does kind of feel like they are playing a lot more slow. They're giving a ton of respect into the server, which is, I feel like, kind of surprising for me, just kind of given that we know a lot of these players and how they typically like to play. But I mean, look, it's starting to work for them, so it is impressive to see, because I was really worried for what we were going to see on the T side, but it's good to see there's some big improvements. Like, they are starting to look better. I didn't love that late execution, I'm going to be honest, but at least it worked. They were able to make that cleaned up pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh. Tough situation now for Dia to have to go through a tech pause now that you're getting momentum in your favor. You feel like you're figuring things out as a team a little bit better. But now they've got to stew in it for a little bit longer. Hope this is a quick one. But Marsborne will not have the guns to necessarily bounce back in this round here. But there is still a lot of potency in MP9s and in 5.7s in a map like Train. There are some close range angles. You know, you think about the box next to Pop Dog. You think about back red. You think about close range on the Brown Halls angle. There are avenues to make it work, but they've got to compound these things and not let one kill figure everything out and stew on it. They've got to find one kill and immediately capitalize and make that 2.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of the other thing too when we talk about, you know, some of the tech issues, because obviously it's on the other side for getting info, which is a little bit always a little bit tilting and frustrating as well. But it does look like players are kind of loading back up, so I'm hoping this will be very quick, like you said. But this does kind of give that little bit of breathing room for Marsborne again, just to kind of go, okay, look, like we gotta. You know, Sixy has a couple more, you know, minutes to just figure out, okay, how am I going to call this? What do we want to do differently? We have seen some really good rounds where there wasn't a lot of investment. They were almost able to get rounds in their favor. So that's what I was kind of saying, is that, you know, with getting info, finding these 4 rounds in their favor, it has been a bit grueling though, right? Like, it hasn't been easy for getting info, but they are getting the round wins at the end of the day, which matters the most. But now MP9's up, the 5.7's up, a lot of investment into this. Now I'm kind of curious, what do we see? Do we see that aggression in Ivy again? Do we see them go for that T-Con control that almost grabbed them around? Or do they just kind of play true to the default and just see if they can kind of, again, outposition and maneuver?
Let's check it out. I'll go aggressive here with Sixy's MP9 through Pop. And they'll essentially crunch in a Brown Halls here and find that there's nobody home. This is huge news for Marsborne. But on the flip side, Shane's also heard all these footsteps. But Sixy wants to continue this aggression. He's going to continue to jiggle out. Shane still's got this range advantage. And I like that he's backing away up here and still having his gun out. He understands that Shane is around the corner. And he's still just so keen on taking this duel. Eventually, Viz actually bounced back in through the back lines. And I don't think Shane's aware of how close Viz could possibly be in this situation. While all this is happening, though, as Shane disassembles, it's a walk-in from the rest of getting info up through the Ivy side. Grizz with this 5-7 is going to have to go huge, and Dia is actually looking to be the first player to give that sort of contact. So 5-7s here can get real dangerous, but Marky finds the entry, and that should be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and it absolutely will. Marky, Shane, they all chime in. Yes, there's a TK in there, but we'll ignore that. It's just Viz left up in this one, and double digits surely secured here for the T side.
Yeah, it should be an opportunity here for the double digits, like you said, unless, you know, again, the HP is pretty low for Marky, but yeah, they had a really good read on it. They were investigating. They were able to figure that case very quickly. So now 10-7 is going to be secured. You know, I did like that play in the hallway. I thought that was good. Like you said, Viz was trying to, again, use the distraction of his teammate to get himself in that stronger position, but there was a lot of pressure for Grizz, like that in that kind of a spot with only a 5-7. I just felt like that was maybe a bit of a misplay in my opinion. I feel like one of the MP9s would have been way better because that could have been an opportunity where you're playing up close. You might be able to get the quick fire rate and putting yourself in a better advantage, but that's a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out. Now everything's kind of on the table here. This is where Marsborne absolutely need to be able to find this. They got to put something back in their favor. That's some good damage onto Snav. So Viz is going to be able to get some a little bit of revenge onto this and now put themselves in a prime position for the 5-on-4. And that's the bomb, exactly.
So not only does Viz get himself T-Con control, but he's got the bomb in his sights as well. I'm surprised that there is no secondary player here to deal with holding on to this. And it's very interesting. Both teams are acting as though they have the bomb. Like the T's have control of the bomb. They're playing it out like a normal round. But you've got to get the bomb at some point. Oh, okay. I'm completely wrong. That is why. That is why. Because
it did look like it. It did look like it, though. I'm going to be honest.
Oh my goodness, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been crazy. Like I would have been like, "There's absolutely no way," and they were being so calm about it too. Yeah, thank you, production, for sure. Because I was like,
I would have led all the viewers down that road for another 30 seconds.
I was thinking the same thing, man. I'm like, what are they doing? Like they don't even look like they're sweating about that. Like this is so weird. And then I was like, oh yeah, okay, all right, well, we don't know.
But I will say, the T-Con control is still very important. It allows for a two-player lean here. It allows for this flank to potentially brew from Grizz, and they're getting this information. There's 20 seconds left on the clock. Nade goes through, and it hits 2. 60 then chimes in with the A1S. He's found 3 in the round. It leaves it all up to Marky, and you don't necessarily count on 60 to be this huge anchor per se. And Chop is just going to close it out. Beautiful work there from the captain. And I still think that, yes, you know, Snav dying there early, bomb or no bomb, is still a massive blow to getting info and allowing for Marsborne to have a third rotation.
No, 100%. Like, you know, it's still a very important piece because we're seeing that they're getting aggressive. They're fighting for that map control. They're making things more problematic here on that T side. Like when you're still putting a lot of pressure onto one aspect of the map, that's where they have to make a decision. Okay, do we want to clear this back out? Do we want to fight for it? Do we ignore it? That does put a lot of, you know, wrench in the gears, right? It really does kind of mess things up. So I love that play. That was a very quick duel. That was very, very important. So even though it wasn't the bomb carrier, like you and I were both kind of, you know, going nuts about, it still brought a lot of impact into this. Nade going to be able to find a nice little bit of an opener as well. So Snav, he didn't even see anybody. He's caught with a PC utility. Wolfie in a prime position here, posted up, should be able to find it, spots the barrel, does get that shot. Now he needs his teammates to be able to help him out, and Grizz, who other than Grizz, to be able to find that secondary kill that has put them in this 4-on-2. This is not a good position right now for getting info because they don't have a lot of intel. They have 2 players that are on the opposite sides of each other. 60 reads them like a book, and look at how quickly they are able to retaliate back into this with a 1-round differential.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This feels like one of those situations where, yes, you know, getting info got to this point, but at the end of the day, you know, all the bells and whistles are now firmly in the favor of the CT side. They've got all the bells and whistles in terms of the utility. It just feels like they're getting those right reads. The chemistry is building, and it feels like they're whirring to life.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they're just going to drop in. This is, you know, Chop's going to be a little bit careful, right? Because again, okay, I was going to say, like, this is where they're close. You know, I know they're Glocks and, you know, some light pistols, whatever, but that's where things can get a little bit scary. But look, losing only one person, really quick, easy retake, not bad at all. Bomb does go down, so that's actually quite nice for getting info. Just a little bit of extra cash to go in their pocket. But man, right back into this game of a 10-10. So it was like, again, like it was a 7-5 first half. It was, you know, essentially getting info that were able to get themselves, what, like 4, I almost want to say 5 rounds in a row, essentially. And then now we're starting to see Marsborne, you know, rise from the ashes. They're starting to look like that, you know, really good defensive team on this map. Now they're kind of getting back into the swing of things, and this thing is a dead even game. And with that extra little bit of bomb money, that's going to allow the guns to come out. It's going to be 5 AKs though, Paladin. This is a little bit interesting from getting info. I like that they're going to try to mix things up. They're not just going to rely on Dia to op. They're going to try to maybe be a little bit more aggro on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at this, fast T-con control, fast pop dot control as well, and Shane surges forward with the bomb. Flash is beautiful from Markey as well, so they've got an opening 5v3. They want to extend off of this though into this A bomb site, but Chop finds one, Grizz cuts down another, and another headshot found for this AK-47. Snav trying to dig him out of this hole, but he takes so much damage and gives time for Chop to go bounding through the Z smoke that it leaves it all up to the captain, and Nade chips him down even further, just 4 HP, a switch over to the USP, and 11, a lead reclaimed for Marsborne, as getting info slowly feels like they're being left in the dust.
Yeah, it really does. And again, like, this is the thing that I've always said about Grizz, man. Like, he was kind of this guy that we talk. I think you and I have both talked about, like, a young prospect. We always said that, you know, it was waiting for a moment to get onto a really good team. I feel like he can bring a lot of impact. That round there, again, he was able to save his team. He was able to save their butts, right? I mean, he was able to find that first kill, able to find the second kill, buying enough time for his teammates, again, to get the rotates and getting there a little bit quicker. So he played the most impactful way he could have, and now has put them on the brink to potentially finding this 12th round, which again, it was looking like getting info had it in the bag. It felt like getting info was in the best position to getting this map, to pushing it to a 3 mapper. So now we're starting to see, again, all these players from Marsborne getting a second win and playing their true game, which has been such a sight to behold.
Absolutely. And now Wolfie is really starting to get a little bit more pep in his step. Sure, he dies back turn, but Viz is there. The recovery of the AWP as follows, and it's map and series point here in this upper bracket final of NA Cup 2 for ECL Season 50. A chance to get a break from gameplay on Sunday and bring your best foot forward to lock in a final spot against Wildcard or getting info after that consolidation on Sunday.
Yeah, not bad at all. But look, I mean, this is all the eggs in the basket here. This is where getting info have to be able to find something big. Wolfie's been able to push through. Oh my gosh, all these nades, all the flashes, everybody's blind. And it looks like it pans out nicely here for the T's. And the missed shot from Wolfie, again, costly. 60 gonna let them run by. He gets away with 1 kill, but it's nothing really much to brag about. And now Grizz needing to find himself this triple kill to get themselves done the deal. But again, that utility, lots of time remaining for getting info. They know exactly where he is. He's been spotted. I mean, this is now a decision. Does he just want to save this? Does he want to try to commit to maybe a little bit of a clutch maybe scenario? He's got that $7,300. They have the cash, so really there's no reason he shouldn't try to go for this. He may as well. Indeed, he's going to try. He's got the M4, full bullet, or full chamber of bullets, and now he's just trying to see what he's going to be able to find in these duels. But it's going to be Dia to just put up a massive barricade, and now It's a 1-round differential here, Paladin, and this is begging the question of maybe this isn't over yet.
Maybe. Couple more twists in this tale, perhaps. And again, a 5-rifle situation here for getting info. They don't want to opt in for that AWP whatsoever. And he has been perfectly serviceable on this rifle. It feels like the trades can be a little bit more snappier. And instantly, smoke's being dropped outside of T-Con. Perhaps a little bit pacier in terms of the execution, or maybe even a fake as they try to take Brown Hall's control over here on the B side of the map. But nothing really unorthodox from Marsborne, allowing getting info to set the tempo here on the offensive end.
Yeah, they're kind of just clustered into this brown hole too. So this does make me a little bit worried in some aspect of this, right? Because again, quiet as a mouse, burning the clock. They're making me mulled before. They're making me stressed before. And I don't know if they're going to try to do it again where they run this thing right down to the last remaining, 12 seconds, I think they went for it. A nice little bit of an off angle here from Chop. He's got the util ready, so that's going to allow, for 60 to at least get himself a better reposition. But it seems like they have a decent read on this. They got the double player into this. And you see that Marsborne are kind of just waiting things out. They're not trying to be antsy on this Paladin.
Not at all, but Chop will eventually spot this slump. Just waiting for the go signal. And yeah, there's a little bit of utility being tossed in. Molly threw onto the Brown Hall side, but it's not deep enough. It leaves 60 left out to dry, and the flash hits him square in the face. There's still an opportunity here with Chop lying in the back lanes, but Marky will trade once more. A man advantage situation as the bomb hits the dirt. And this one feels like overtime, potentially, unless Viz and Grizz can rip it back into their favor.
1 HP.
3v2 all of a sudden. Dia on one singular point of health in a 1-on-2. For the upper bracket dreams to stay alive. Bomb stuck in the back of the site. There's still an opportunity, and Dia can't bite on that. He can't bite at all. And finally, the stick comes through. The guarding is there, but the bomb is not defused. There is still a kit up, and I think there should just be enough time. And at the nick of time, Marsborne will close it out 13-11. And they will march on to the grand finals here in NA Cup number 2 for ECL Season 50.
I can't believe it, man. All the way to that kind of last remaining seconds. And I was thinking this thing was going to be going to overtime, but you got to give it to getting info. I mean, honestly, it didn't go their way. But you can see the improvement was there. I was kind of questioning, I felt like this was going to be an easy wrap. I thought this was going to just be full dominance here for Marsborne, but they got tested. There was a lot of adversity for both these teams. It was a big back and forth encounter, but look, it was still, at the end of the day, Marsborne is able to show some, championship form. They're putting themselves, like you said, in the grand final now, where they have a little bit of time to prepare. But I am impressed to see that getting info, despite what we saw in the past of these two teams playing, it did look better. It felt like this T side, there was a lot more pieces that were kind of fitting the puzzle. There was a lot more connection this time, which I honestly love to see, despite they took that loss.
Yeah, I definitely think that they've turned a corner in some senses, but man, I'm just so happy to see the turnaround from Marsborne in terms of the culture, in terms of finding responses in clutch situations. It felt like they had the right answers in those 1vx's, and 60 leading the way from a rating perspective and from a stylistic perspective as well. It's a pretty handed win here for Marsborne, and one of those statement wins that showcases the proof of concept that this Marsborne squad can have. And I hope that they can continue to build upon this and learn how to potentially slow the game down to complement 60's faster paced offensive calls. But of course, it's going to be a while until we really feel that solidification, because he's only been on this team for 6 or 7 days.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, right? And that's where we were kind of really highlighting a lot about the exciting aspects of like what Marsborne's doing and all the changes they're doing, and that's kind of bringing up this bracket. And I appreciate that production brought it up right here and right now, because again, it's been such an interesting path that we saw that Marsborne was able to go through. They were able to beat like a team like Blue Jays. They were able to beat like quite a few different competition, and that's the same thing for getting info. Like they had to beat Wildcard, they had to beat, you know, Mythic, they had to beat all these other teams that were quite decent in the region. So that's where I felt like it was such a unique matchup, because it kind of felt like a little bit of that redemption arc, you know, maybe that little bit of a rematch and the grueling aspect of it. But I'm impressed to see what, you know, again, the improvements of getting info, but also just what 6E's been able to bring to the server, because we talked so much about him being in complexity in that tier 1 experience, where it was a bit of an up and down, and we didn't really know if it was going to work out or not. And he had some bad performances, some great performances, but now it really does just feel like he's kind of getting into his groove, and he put up a monstrous performance, you know, in this entire thing, in this entire best of 3, I should say, which you just love to see, right? Any NA fan is a huge 6E fan, because when he gets, you know, when he gets moving, man, he's moving, and he is fragging.
Absolutely. But that'll do it here. We've got one more game tomorrow in the lower bracket final. That would be Wildcard taking on Getting Info, losers of today's upper bracket final. And the winner of that goes on to play in the Grands against Marsborne. A chance to advance to the ECL Season of 50 NA Finals. But of course, as far as this broadcast is concerned, we're all done and dusted. We hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Paladin. I've been joined by Laz. And we'll see you for that consolidation final tomorrow.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Qiddiya.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I can like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are away.